films even after losing a box. After a 5-mile walk around town, I never smell your socks. You hid movies from your folks and your mom hid them from your grandma. And a lot of the time that we hang out, you record it with your camera. Always have the strength to forgive when I hit you in the eye. You eat Chinese ramen, nachos, fish, even pizza pie. Standing tall with curly hair, leather jacket wrapped. Oh look, here he comes, the Million Film Almanac. Bobbly, 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 bellissimo. Bobbly, 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 bellissimo. Bobbly, bellissimo. Bobbly, bellissimo.
Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Film. As we continue our annual trek through the filmography of Casper Van Dien, we've come across a first for this show. I'm reviewing a Uli Lomo movie. If you're not familiar with who that is, we'll get to that in just a second. That movie is Countdown to Disaster, aka Lethal Orbit. And to sum up quickly, it's the first and very probably the last Uli Lomo movie I will review for the show. Why is that? Let's find out as I review Countdown to Disaster. The plot synopsis I'm about to give you comes straight from the back of the DVD, which is a little bit tricky to get, but I clearly did finally get one. A militia group's leaders, played by Jan Michael Vincent and Christopher Mitchum, have recruited one of NASA's main computer experts, Blake, played by Bentley Mitchum. They convince him to sabotage a planned release of a super spy satellite. 3 astronauts are now stuck in space, running out of air. Blake must be caught and forced to tell the password that will reactivate the shuttle's life support system. In order to get to Blake, the government has to first eliminate the militia group that is protecting him. Once the astronauts are back home, an outspoken senator, played by Joe Estevez, demands a Senate committee hearing to guarantee this will never happen again. That is a fairly accurate and decent summary of the film. What you're missing in that, though, is the structuring. It's a flashback sort of movie in which we start with the Senate committee hearing on the events that happened, and when various people, like some of the astronauts and whatnot, testify, we flash back to what they're talking about. The movie was written by Bud Garrison, and there's a great movie with this story somewhere. This isn't it, and only a little bit of that can be blamed on the screenwriter himself. His dialogue is very exposition heavy in every single scene, doesn't matter if it's a Senate committee hearing or not, and he is unable to balance this number of characters and their personal lives in a way to make the audience really care about any individual one of them, with the exception of Tom Orbit, who's our main astronaut, played by Casper Van Dien. But I like the setup quite a bit. I like the back and forth in terms of the Senate committee and then flashing back to what happened and to those events. I like bringing in surprise witnesses and stuff. It does give the movie a little bit of an edge. It makes it fairly intense and interesting. But this is a Uli Lomo movie, and that means one thing and one thing only. As presented here, everything that happens is boring as fuck. I have seen a handful of Uli Lomo films, such as The Boogeyman and BTK Killer, and I can unequivocally say So any hyperbole, Yoli Lomo is absolutely one of the worst, hardcore, worst directors of all time. In order of directors who are the worst of all time, it's Gareth Edwards, because obviously. Uwe Boll, because fuck that prick. Yoli Lomo is third. The man doesn't understand visual storytelling whatsoever. The other two just don't understand good stories. Lomo does. All his movies could have been good. He has no talent for visual storytelling, at least in the medium of film. Every movie he does is very boring because he has no style as a director. He brings nothing to the table that makes you want to watch or be interested or be engaged with anything happening in a visual style. You see how flat and boring my videos are when they don't have images of the movies on screen? That's how every movie by him looks. He sets it up, he points it at people, they say their lines, he just stops. I really wouldn't be surprised to learn if he films them in order and they just stop there, then he rushes up to the next scene and hits play on the camera again. His movies are shit, and this is one of the least terrible ones I've seen, but it's also one of the best written ones I've seen and one of the best acted ones I've seen. So clearly the only reason that is because of the people surrounding him. That has nothing to do with him. He can't make good movies, and it's sad. With all that out of the way, though, it's not just that he has no visual flourishes, it's that he uses so much stock footage in this movie especially, but in other movies as well of his that I've seen, and he doesn't integrate them very well. There's a lot of NASA stock footage of astronauts training, of space shuttles taking off, of shots from space shuttles or astronauts or satellites in space, and often the music will go away, the ambient noise, the sound design, and the sound mixing will go away. The sections have no sound to them, which is not okay. Not only not okay, it's all actually quite awkward, because a scene will be going on, two people will be talking, maybe they'll say something very dramatic, and then music will play. Bum, bum, bum. But during that last bum, it'll just cut off. And then we're in space seeing stock footage, and there's nothing happening. The music's not continuing, new music doesn't start, and that makes it so dull to watch. Even silent movies had a score and a live accompaniment score with them, that when you got the movie, you got a sheet of music that your resident piano player or whomever would be playing along to keep things interesting. Because just visuals with nothing else going on can be very boring. Now, you can use a completely silent scene to enhance things. That's what's going on here. It's just shoddy filmmaking, and they didn't feel like getting more sound from the stock footage they had, I guess. I don't know. Dear God, is it boring. With that out of the way, I will say I actually thought the costumes for the movie were pretty good. The uniforms looked fairly accurate. The spacesuits, well, clunky and bulky as spacesuits are, looked real. And I think the militia's outfits are nice because they look worn and tattered and that sort of thing, like you would imagine a militia like this group would wear. And that worked out nicely, which once again is one of the things that bumps this movie up in Lomo's overall filmography to being possibly his best movie. I would need to look at his entire filmography to figure that out, and all the movies I've seen in that filmography, of course. But what really saves the day here is the acting. Casper Van Dien plays Tom Corbett, And he's pretty good here. There's a scene where he realizes he's going to die. No question, nothing there. He's gonna die. And he sends a video message to his wife and child, and it's really sad. And you will have the slight feels from it, not as much as you should have, but still. Kelly Sweeney plays one of the other astronauts, Major Gina Thompson, and she's also really good. She is the astronaut testifying at the Senate committee hearing, refuting things that were speculated on, confirming things that can be confirmed, giving an accurate detail of what the astronauts were going through while they were running out of air and other life support systems. And she's really good. She sounds very believable, saying all the military jargon and stuff, and very empathetic to the people who were on the flight that died and that sort of thing. And it's really interesting. There's a moment near the end of the movie where she calls somebody a flat-out liar. She was up in space. She knows what happened. There's no way that this particular character had anything to do with saving everyone, and she calls him a liar. And you believe that she's angry at the thought that these people did something for her, because she knows that they didn't. And that worked out nicely. Joe Estevez plays the Senate committee chairman. He's blustery and fiery and angry and everything. But again, the performance kind of worked. Given the bland visual setup, the lack of style, and the terrible sound design, it's actually, the acting from everybody is better than expected. But everyone gives a better performance than one would think, given the rest of the movie. And that does make it kind of interesting. But kind of interesting isn't enough to watch it unless you are a massive fan of somebody in the cast. Thus, Casper Van Dien for me. Or maybe it's Bentley Mitchell, or Joe Estevez, or Nick Wilder for you. I don't know. Countdown to Disaster, aka Lethal Orbit, is boring. It has a great plot synopsis. It has a great hook. It has an engaging setup in terms of the flashbacks from the Senate committee to what actually happened. And it has better than expected acting, given how bad the directing is from a visual standpoint, given how awkward the sound design and the music are, and given the lack of polish on a production level. The acting is actually pretty good. But that's not enough to save the movie. I can't really recommend that you watch this. As always, thank you for watching. I've been your host, Bobby, and I will see you next week with the Casper Van Dien movie in which he plays James Dean. Yeah, Casper Van Dien played James Dean, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.